People living in poverty and in marginalized communities, having limited access to basic services and infrastructure, do not have viable livelihood options to sustain themselves. Thus, they frequently resort to illicit drug cultivation. Through the implementation of an alternative development initiative, people now have diverse livelihood opportunities that generate enough income to support their families, to prevent a life of poverty and crime, and to live in balance with the environment. They no longer need to rely on drug crop cultivation or other illicit activities to survive. What is alternative development? How does it transform people's lives? And why is it a sustainable development solution? Addressing drug crop cultivation requires a development approach that empowers affected communities by putting them at the very center of the process. Alternative development is a process that integrates development dimensions such as infrastructure, health, education, income generation, market access, and rule of law into a strategic and long-term response to drug crop cultivation. Alternative development allows for a holistic solution to address one of the most important root causes of illicit cultivation: poverty. Its objective is to provide viable livelihood opportunities to reduce the vulnerabilities of communities engaging in illegal activities to sustain themselves and their families. But alternative development is not just a crop substitution program, where cash crops such as cabbages, bananas, or corn can simply replace drug crops such as opium poppy. It recognizes that no single activity can compete with an entire illegal economy. Rather, alternative development diversifies income and needs to create economic and social stability. For example, a family can survive from growing rotated cash crops such as rice, corn, and soybean to generate income all year round, combined with livestock raising as well as having a vegetable plot to reduce household expenses. In the next step, they may grow economic trees and produce value-added products to generate medium and long-term livelihood opportunities. The alternative source of income introduced needs to be able to compete with the illicit source of income, coupled with bringing in social services, including education, as well as basic infrastructure to improve the community's overall well-being. Over time, the family in our example may increase their income not only by selling raw material, but also through processing and thereby increasing its value. They may invest in economic forestry and grow perennial crops that do not provide income in the early years. However, once they yield, their produce can be sold at a higher value and provide sustainable income. Furthermore, economic forestry models incentivize people to protect the forests which they rely on. Previously, forests were slashed and burned for drug crop fields, and monocrop culture depleted the nutrition from the soil, which lowers productivity, trapping people in the cycle of poverty. Alternative development seeks to reverse this by supporting the management of natural resources to ensure a harmonious relationship between human and nature. With different geographical and socio-economic realities, development activities must always be adapted to the context. They have to be designed in consultation with the community to fully address their needs. Since there is a no quick fix formula, the conditions on the ground have to be thoroughly understood when planning a development strategy. If alternative development takes into account the aforementioned principles, it empowers communities to secure their own sustainable livelihoods, allowing them to live with dignity and to be able to thrive on their own without having to rely on illicit activities for survival. Most importantly, all activities must answer the key question: what do the people get? For that reason, instead of just measuring the reduction in the cultivation of illicit crops, human-centric indicators must be used to evaluate the success of 80 programs in order to ensure that they truly realize sustainable livelihood for the people over the long run.